This is how I produced a year's worth of work in 3 months. The world's most prolific creators never multitask. Instead, they enter monk mode. In the next 15 to 20 minutes, you're going to learn 10 specific strategies to 4x your output. We are going to specifically address how to handle noisy open offices, destroy the myth of multitasking, and give you the blueprint for what we call deep work.
And just to set the stakes here, this isn't just about working harder. It's not about grinding until you burn out.
Right.
It is a fundamental reframe of how we approach our careers. The source material we are diving into today draws a sharp, painful line in the sand between being responsive and being reactive.
Okay.
Most of us think we are being productive, but we are actually just reacting to other people's needs.
You know, I have to be honest, when I first saw that claim, 4x your output, I immediately felt tired.
I get that.
It sounds like another of those, hustle culture manifestos telling me to wake up at 3 a.m., take an ice bath, and just grind until my eyes bleed. Is that what we're doing here?
I'm so glad you said that, because that is exactly the myth we need to debunk. This deep dive is actually the anti-hustle.
Okay.
The source argues that constant busyness, running around like a headless chicken, is actually a sign of laziness.
Laziness. That's a bold accusation for someone who's answering 200 emails a day.
It is lazy because it avoids the hard, scary work of actually thinking. So here is your first mental hook, and we're not kidding about this. Stop keeping your email tab open. That constant ping isn't making you a good employee. It's a fracture in your attention that is, frankly, making you stupid.
Okay, let's unpack this. We have a lot to get through. Let's start with the foundation. Strategy, #1, the concept flip.
Right. This is the core philosophy. If you don't get this part, none of the other tactics are going to work.
Okay.
The source presents a specific kind of math of productivity. It argues that 1 hour of deep work is greater than 8 hours of distracted work.
That sounds great on a bumper sticker, but let's really look at the mechanics of that. Because I think most people, they feel like they worked a full day, they're exhausted, but they didn't actually produce anything.
Exactly.
Is the math really that simple? Is an hour just an hour?
Not quite. And this is because the source introduces a concept called attention residue. This is the scientific reason why multitasking is, well, it's a lie.
Attention residue. It sounds like sludge.
That's a perfect way to visualize it. I mean, imagine your attention as a computer's RAM. When you switch from writing a report to checking a Slack notification, you think you've switched instantly.
Right, you just flip.
But your brain doesn't work like a light switch. A residue of your attention remains stuck on that notification for up to 20 minutes.
So if I check my phone every 10 minutes?
You effectively have zero processing power available for the actual work. You are literally working with a lobotomized brain.
Wow.
You might be staring at the screen, but the cognitive engine is just clogged with sludge.
And the deep work hour. What does that look like?
That is a laser beam. It just cuts through the sludge. It is pure, concentrated energy directed at a single point. The source argues that depth is greater than width. You can achieve more progress on a complex problem in 60 minutes of that laser focus than you can in a whole week of, residue-filled distracted work.
But, and here's the big but, you can't just decide to have a laser beam if you're sitting in a carnival.
No.
This brings us to strategy, #2. Environment, or what the source calls digital walls.
Yes. You have to build a fortress. You cannot rely on willpower. Willpower is like a finite resource. It runs out by 10 a.m. for most people. You need actual walls.
And the source lists some very specific tools here.
Right.
It's not just try to focus. It's things like website blockers, airplane mode, noise-canceling headphones.
And I love that the source includes noise-canceling headphones as a wall because it's a signal to yourself and, more importantly, to others, when the headphones are on, the shop is closed.
It's aggressive, though, right? I mean, in an open office, putting on big cans can feel like you're being antisocial.
Yeah. It has to be. These aren't just preferences. The source frames these as defenses. You are defending your brain against an invasion of shallow work.
An invasion, yeah.
If you don't build the wall, the shallow work will get in. It's like water. It finds the cracks. If you leave your phone on the desk, even face down, your brain is burning energy just ignoring it.
Okay, so we have the defenses up, we flipped the concept, and we understand the residue problem.
Yeah.
Now, how do we schedule the battle? Let's move to tactics 3 and 7. This is all about structuring your time and space.
Right, and this is where most people fall off the wagon. They buy the headphones, they block the websites, but they don't actually change their schedule.
Yeah. Okay, strategy #3 is bimodal scheduling. The source talks about monk mode.
Monk mode is exactly what it sounds like. You split your life into two very distinct modes.
Okay.
You have the monk mode, where you are socially removed and isolated for long stretches, and then you have the normal mode, where you deal with all the chaos.
And the source is suggesting, what, 4-hour blocks?
Yes, 4 hours of total isolation.
Okay, but let's be real. If I just disappear for 4 hours in the middle of a Tuesday, I might get fired. Monk mode sounds great if you're a novelist in a cabin or maybe a tenured professor, but what about an account manager? What about the listener who has a boss breathing down their neck?
That is a completely valid pushback, and the source acknowledges this. If you can't do the full bimodal split, you go for what's called the rhythmic approach.
The rhythmic approach, what's that?
Think of it like chain-smoking deep work sessions. You might not get 4 full hours, but can you fight for 90 minutes every single morning before the chaos really starts?
So it becomes a rhythm, a habit.
Exactly. You sacrifice the depth of the 4-hour block for the consistency of the 90-minute block. But the key is, during those 90 minutes, all the rules of monk mode still apply.
No email, no phone, no talking.
0.
Now, connecting to that, we have strategy #7, roaming. This is about tackling the problem of a stale environment.
This is fascinating because it leverages how our brains associate locations with activities. It's just basic associative learning. If you sit at the same desk where you eat your salad, answer your emails, watch YouTube, and then try to write a strategic plan, your brain is just confused.
It doesn't know what gear to be in.
Exactly. It looks at the desk and thinks, is this the YouTube desk or is this the work desk? The roaming tactic suggests using different locations for different kinds of tasks.
So don't do deep work in the same spot you check email.
Don't. So if you have a laptop, maybe you do your email at the kitchen counter, but you do your deep work at the library, or even
a different chair.
Or even a specific chair in your office that is only for deep work.
The thinking chair.
Ideally, yeah. When you sit in that chair, your brain triggers a context-dependent memory. Okay, we aren't eating lunch. We aren't checking the news. We are working. You're hacking your own environment to trigger focus.
It's spatial association. I like that. So we have the 90-minute or 4-hour blocks, and we have the roaming locations. But getting started is still the hardest part. You stare at the blank page, and you just want to check your phone.
The resistance.
Okay, so let's move to tactics 4 and 5. The bookends. These are the rituals that start and stop the work.
Strategy #4 is the ritualized start. Why do we procrastinate? Because deep work is hard. It's cognitively expensive. Your brain wants to save energy, so it resists. It comes up with a million reasons to do the laundry instead.
It's trying to protect you from the effort. Like, don't burn those calories. We might need to run from a tiger later.
Exactly. It's an evolutionary hangover, so you need a trigger to bypass that resistance. The source suggests a very specific, almost silly fix. Same coffee, same song, every time.
Every single time. That sounds robotic.
It is. You are Pavloving yourself. You know Pavlov's dog.
Ring the bell, the dog salivates.
Exactly. You want to ring a bell and have your brain salivate for focus?
Let's make that an audio sticky note.
Your brain needs a trigger. Coffee plus song equals go time.
It's automating the willpower, isn't it? You don't have to decide to start. The smell of the coffee and the beat of the song just decides for you.
Yes. It reduces the friction of starting. But then there's the other problem on the other end of the day.
Strategy #5, the shutdown ritual. This one is about work bleed.
Oh, this is huge, especially for knowledge workers. We never really clock out. We carry the problems of the day into our evening, into our dinner, into our sleep.
Which ruins the next day. You just wake up tired.
It's worse than just being tired. This tackles something called the Zeigarnik effect.
The Zeigarnik effect. Okay, break that down for us.
Basically, your brain is designed to nag you about unfinished tasks. It hates open loops. If you leave a task half finished without a plan, your brain will keep that loop open, draining your battery all night, trying to solve it in the background.
So that anxiety I feel at 9 p.m. about an email I didn't send, that's my brain trying to be helpful.
In a twisted way, yes. So the source advises a shutdown ritual with a hard stop at 5 p.m.
A hard stop? You mean like mid-sentence?
If you have to. The ritual is about closing the loops. You review your tasks, you plan the next day, and then, and this part is key, you say a phrase or do an action that signals, I am done.
Like literally saying system shutdown.
Yes. I know it sounds silly, but it works. When you say the phrase, you are telling your subconscious it is safe to stand down. We have a plan for tomorrow.
It's a lullaby for your anxiety.
That's a perfect way to put it. It protects your recovery time. If you don't recover, you can't do the deep work tomorrow. The shutdown is just as important as the startup.
So we have the bookends, we have the startup coffee, and the shutdown hard stop. But what about the middle? We're in the home stretch now. Let's tackle the biggest enemy of modern work, the thing that probably gives our listeners the most anxiety, the
Inbox.
inbox,
Yeah.
the slot machine of the workplace.
Strategy, #6, email batching. The source calls out the inbox zero obsession.
It's such a trap. We feel productive when we clear the inbox, but we're just moving information around. We aren't creating value.
And the rule here is strict. Check 2 times per day only.
2 times. That's it. 2 times a day.
Mhm.
I can literally feel my blood pressure rising.
Yeah.
Just hearing that. I mean, practically speaking, if I don't reply within an hour, my boss assumes I'm dead or at the beach.
Right.
How does the source reconcile deep work with employment survival?
It comes down to managing expectations. You can't just go dark without warning. You have to broadcast your signal. The source suggests setting an autoresponder, even internally, that says, I check email at 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. to focus on Project X. If this is an emergency, call my cell.
So you're training people.
You're training them to value your time. If you're always available, your time has no value. Remember the reframe from the beginning.
Right.
Responsive, not reactive.
Right.
If you check at 11 and 4, you are being responsive. You handle everything, but you do it on your terms, not theirs.
And it goes back to the math of the attention residue. You can't have those deep blocks if you are fracturing your attention every 15 minutes.
Impossible. You have to be willing to let messages sit for a few hours. I promise. The world will not burn down.
Okay, moving to strategy, #8. This one surprised me. Productive meditation.
This is a cool one. It addresses wasted downtime. Think about commuting, walking the dog, washing the dishes.
Usually that's podcast time.
Yeah.
Or just zoning out.
Or worrying. A lot of people spend that time just looping on their anxieties. The source suggests using that physical activity to solve a specific professional problem.
Wait, I want to drill down on productive meditation because when I walk the dog, my mind is just all over the place. How is this different from just thinking?
It's structured. It's like weightlifting for your focus muscle. You pose a specific question before you walk out the door, like, how do I structure the 3rd chapter of this report?
Okay.
And then as you walk, you hold that problem in your mind.
And when your mind wanders
Yeah.
to what you're having for dinner.
You just gently pull it back to the 3rd chapter. You are exercising the focus muscle physically. It's actually cognitively exhausting. It is not a relaxing stroll.
It's like using your body to occupy the distracted part of your brain so the smart part can work.
That's a great way to put it. You're keeping the monkey mind busy with walking so the deep mind can solve the puzzle.
And finally, strategy, #9, flow triggers. This connects to energy management.
Right. To maintain this pace, this deep work, this productive meditation, you need energy. You can't just grit your teeth. You need what are called flow triggers.
The source lists 3 specific ones: high consequence, clear goals, and immediate feedback.
Let's break those down. High consequence. If it doesn't matter, you won't focus. Your brain just won't deploy the resources. Clear goals. You need to know exactly what done looks like.
Not just work on the project.
No, you need to write 500 words and immediate feedback. You need to know if you are moving toward the goal. That's why coding is so addictive. You run the code and it either works or it fails instantly.
Okay.
You need to build that loop into your work.
And if you have those 3 things, you are much more likely to slip into that flow state where time just disappears.
And where the work actually gets good.
We've covered the tactics. We've built the walls. We've scheduled the blocks. We've triggered the flow. Now, let's land on the final mindset shift. This is the GPS destination. Strategy, #10, the emotional payoff.
This is the permission slip.
Right.
The source says explicitly, it's okay to be unavailable.
I think people need to hear that again.
You are allowed to ignore the world for a few hours.
It feels dangerous, doesn't it? In our hyper-connected world, being unavailable feels like, well, like negligence, like you're being a bad employee or a bad friend.
It feels that way because we have confused connectivity with productivity. But the source flips it. If you are always available, you are never doing deep work.
Right.
If you never do deep work, you never produce anything of real value. You become a human router, just passing data back and forth.
So the temporary unavailability is the price you pay for the long-term value.
Exactly. And that leads to the ultimate promise of this whole deep dive. The source says, if you master deep work, you become undeniable in your field.
Undeniable. That's a powerful word.
It is, because everyone else is distracted. Everyone else is skimming the surface, reacting to emails, attending pointless meetings, drowning in attention residue. If you are the one person who can go deep, who can produce that year's worth of work in 3 months, you separate yourself from the pack instantly.
It's a superpower in a distracted world.
It really is. The ability to focus is the new IQ. It is the scarcity that creates value.
So, here is the question you want to leave you with today. It connects back to that shocking claim at the start.
Are you busy or are you undeniable?
The choice is how you spend the next hour. You can check your email, get that little hit of dopamine, and shatter your focus.
Yeah.
Or you can go deep.
The walls are up to you.
Thanks for diving in with us. Now, go find your flow.
You've made it this far, so why stop now? There are 2 videos on your screen right now that are perfect for you. Just pick the one that looks most interesting and let's dive back in.